Here are some close-up of marks and other items. This is using the side to make a nice strong mark. This is a swish where you start with a heavy touch and then lighten it. This is using the very edge of a hard pastel like New Pastel, and that way you can get some very clear lines. Here's the old man squiggly lines. For variety, you press hard, you lift higher, softer touches, and maybe rolling the side of a pastel can give you amazing textures. At this point, I am working in some cross-hatching. This allows the underlayers to show through and creates a more vibrant color to the eye. It's like adding spice to food. Here I'm taking some near complements and blending them. You don't always need a color. You might be missing a color, but there's a great chance that you could possibly mix it by overlaying two colors. Don't forget that one. That can work very well. Here's just some stippling with the tip, little dots. You can blend and smudge. Here's blending before with smudging and dragging. Spraying with alcohol can give you some very interesting effects, although they're not as obvious. Here you see a close-up of some of those textures with the underpainting and the alcohol, how it pushes the pastel away from the center and leaves a line around it. Very natural. That was a paper stump. Here I'm using a paper stump to blend or drag color, depending on how you use it. So the best thing is to play around with these aspects, to keep trying some out. This is vine charcoal and how it blends well with the pastel. Smudges great with a torchon, which is a paper stub. This is showing the vine charcoal and then smudging, not even smudging, just blotting over with a kneaded eraser for more texture. Sometimes it works better in one area than another. Again, just keep playing. Keep having fun with it. You're going to learn so much by experimenting. Remember, you can always take alcohol, wash this paper all over, and start anew. That is, if you have a good solid paper like UArt or Lux Archival or some sort of board. That way you can reuse your surface. If you're using some of the other pastel papers, you have to be very careful not to get liquid on it, like Sennelier. That was just a glaze of pastel over the surface, a very soft whisper of a touch to get an effect. Very, very subtle. Here is where I have washed the pastel out and created a nice, even background. Again, hard press, lift as you move away. Press hard, then lift as you move away, and you can get a nice varied or a graded stroke. You can glaze over with another color. You can do strong marks, lines, stippling, which is little dots. The very edge, the corner of a hard pastel like New Pastel gives you strong lines. Lay it right down on the side. Don't go with the tip. Again, look at that. That is a nice glazing of, and some of the painting underneath shows through. I've sprayed here with some alcohol, waiting to see, because in each area it's going to react differently with the pastel that's underneath it. Sometimes you can blot it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Here's a little stronger, and there with a torchon or paper stump, it actually lifts some of that paper and creates subtle, subtle marks. A glazing, blending with the fingers. You want to do this on under layers and not on top, because it will press the flakes of the pastel down. And as you finish, you want the flakes to be at angles to catch the light and refract it to create brighter, more vibrant colors, even if you're using grays. Here's some close-ups. You can see how the pastel, if you use a light whispering touch, just glazes over the top. It kind of skips on the top of the sand.